If you love easy, no fuss cooking, then you are in the right place. Today I've got 15 yummy air fryer recipes that are so easy because they only have 5 ingredients or less. This means less time in the kitchen, less money spent on groceries, and a whole lot more yumminess. I've got recipes for dinner, for breakfast, some side dishes, and some dessert. My name is Cathy and I empower air fryer owners to use their air fryer. Are you ready to see these? Let's go. Now I have one little caveat to the 5 ingredients. If it's salt or pepper, it doesn't count, okay? You good with that? So let's start with some breakfast recipes. And the first one we're gonna do is some sausage egg muffin cups, except we're gonna do bacon. This is a recipe that's on page 15 in my cookbook. And actually, most of these recipes are in my cookbook. So if you haven't snagged it yet, now is a great time to do it. You can snag it at yummyairfryerrecipes.com or right here at pineapple.co. You just need some silicone muffin liners, some bacon, some cubed bread, eggs, and then some salt and pepper. First thing you're gonna do is line the muffin liners with your bacon. It might be anywhere from 1 to 1.5 slices. You're just gonna make like a little nest. Go ahead and pop all of those in the air fryer first. You're gonna run those at 380 for about 4 minutes. Then go ahead and throw in some of the cubed bread in each little muffin cup, and then you crack 1 egg inside of each of those. The beautiful thing about this recipe is you can do this for just 1 or 4 or 8. You can make as many of these as you want in your air fryer. You could probably fit anywhere from 9 even up to 12. Now you're gonna air fry these at 340 degrees for about 12 minutes. And it really just depends on how well cooked you like your eggs. If you really like them runny, keep it down to like 8 or 9 minutes. If you want them super cooked, it could be even as long as 15 minutes. And just like that, you have a super easy breakfast. Let's see what the taste testers say.
What is this? Egg bacon. Wow. Wow. That was a lot juicier than I thought. That's really good. Wow. What? So that was very sweet, very tasty, very juicy, amazing. And that's definitely a 5 out of 5.
This next one is on page 31 in my cookbook. It's a breakfast wrap. Now you will scramble up some eggs. The cool thing about this one is you could do those the night before if you want, but just have some eggs ready and then your choice, some sausage, some bacon crumbles, and then some pico de gallo or salsa. And then of course, some cheese and your flour tortilla. Cook it up in your frying pan. You basically just want like 4 big chunks of scrambled eggs. Cut up some of your sausage strips, then get a flour tortilla and just cut it right there from the middle out to the edge. Then place a portion of your eggs on 1/4, then some of the sausage on the next quarter, then a little pico or salsa, and some cheese. Now you're gonna fold again, and one more time. Now it's ready for the air fryer. Give it a little spray, and then you're gonna cook it at 370 for about 5 minutes. This is one of those that the kids can come make for themselves too. And whoop, there it is. Crunchy breakfast tortilla wrap. Breakfast crunch wrap. Crunch. You like that? I'm gonna try a bite.
I want more. But I'll give it a 4.
5 for me. Now, one way I love to use the air fryer is for side dishes. This is how we make some savory carrots. This one's on page 149. You could also call them carrot fries if you have some little kids that you need to get excited about eating carrots. Start with some carrots. Depending on the size, you're gonna want anywhere from 4 to large ones, or I had smaller ones, so we're using about 8 of them. Then you'll need some oil, salt and pepper, and Italian seasoning. Wash, peel, and then slice up your carrots so they somewhat resemble French fries. Then pat them dry and spray your air fryer basket, and then just drop the carrots right into the basket. Then give it another spray. Then you're just gonna season it, and you can really just eyeball it. Salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, however much or little you like. Air fry them at 350 for 5 minutes. Give them a stir. Then, depending on the size and how crisp or tender you like them, you're gonna air fry them for 5 to 10 more minutes. And these are perfectly fork tender for me. Look how gorgeous they are. I'm so grateful my friend gave them to me right from her garden. And there you go, carrot fries. So good. Now if you want them softer, just cook them for like even up to 5 more minutes. But I personally love this crispy, tender vibe I got going on with carrot fries. This one's on page 174. I love it as an easy side dish. These make a fun snack, a lunch, or even a super fast dinner if you need to. These are homemade pizza bagels, and here's a hack. If you don't have bagels, you could also do these on English muffins. All right, so grab 2 bagels out of the bag, Go ahead and cut them open. Good job, good job. And by the way, this is on page 174 in my cookbook at yummyairfryrecipes.com. Now this is a little bit larger basket, so I think we can fit one more in there. Okay, then you're just gonna spread that pizza sauce all over those bagels and go ahead and place pepperoni down or whatever type of protein you want. Then throw down all the cheese. Now it kind of helps if you kind of push it down a little bit, especially with this thinner sliced cheese. Pop it in the air fryer. You're gonna air fry this at 400 for 5 minutes. High five. Okay, pizzas are done. Oh yeah.
That looks so good. Nice and steamy. That was so easy to make. I'm making this every day after school from now on. So good. 2,000 out of 10.
Okay, these easy taco bites only call for 4 ingredients and they're low carb. Ground beef, some taco seasoning, eggs, and cheese. And then I'm using some silicone muffin liners. The first thing we're gonna do is cook up the ground beef. First, break your meat apart. We definitely don't wanna put a big old blob of meat down in the air fryer. Then you can just plop it right there in your air fryer. You don't even have to preheat if you don't want to. Then I'm gonna pop it in the air fryer, crank it up to 380, and then you can cook it for 4 minutes, and we'll go from there. That's cooking. Get 6 eggs in a large bowl and we'll beat them up. Okay, the first 4 minutes is done. And look, it's looking fantastic already. At this point, you will want some sort of silicone tool that won't scratch up your air fryer and just break up the meat and stir it around. You can see that this is cooking really nicely. Okay, once you have it kind of broken up again, it's time to season it. Today, I'm gonna do about 3 tablespoons of taco seasoning for this recipe. That's the key thing. You just wanna season it after it's partially cooked. Since this is looking so good, I'm just gonna go about 3 more minutes. And this time I'm gonna drop it down to 350. While that finishes up, I'm going to throw in about a cup of cheese and stir it up some more. And now, ta-da! Look at this. This is the magical part of it all. Right here. There's all your grease from your meat. And wow, I'm surprised that that's not a ton of grease. Now go ahead and just drop that on a paper towel. If you want to get any remaining grease out, pat that dry a little bit. Now go back to that egg mixture and you're just going to drop the ground beef right inside. And then just mix all of that up together, and it's time for step 2. Wipe out the excess grease. Quickly wash that out. Now I'm just gonna place some silicone muffin liners right in the air fryer. And I have found with silicone, it just goes better if you spray the insides. That way the food doesn't stick. Then get like a 1/4 cup measuring cup, and then get your mixture and fill each one of these little cups. The liquid does tend to kind of sink to the bottom, so I usually like to dunk down low and fill up my measuring cup there. I can get this into 10 of these muffin liners, but only 9 will fit. But I'm gonna squeeze that 10th one in there. We'll make it work. Pop it in the air fryer. Let's go with 330, and I'm gonna start with 10 minutes. We'll see how that goes. All right, let's take a peek. Ooh, check it out. Now, like I said, this is the first time I'm making these in the air fryer, so I'm not quite sure on the time. And I'm guessing they might need just a little more, mostly because I want that egg cooked all the way through. And I'm just gonna top these with a little more cheese as I give them just a few more minutes of cook time. So let's turn this back on to 330, and I'm gonna give it about 3 more minutes. And let's take a peek here. Hey, that's looking good. Quick temperature check, it's up to 165, 170. We're gonna let these rest. You just serve these with sour cream, some salsa, and they're awesome to freeze for later. You could just flash freeze and then throw them in a Ziploc bag. You can eat them with your hands or with a fork.
So good.
This is one of those dinners that looks like you put in a ton of effort, but it was actually hardly any effort. We're making pizza stuffed chicken thighs, and it's on page 77 in the cookbook. You just need some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Oh my goodness, those are so good, by the way. Some pizza or marinara sauce, pepperoni of your choice, some sliced red onions, if you like that sort of thing, and then your favorite pizza cheeses. First, you're gonna go ahead and just trim up your chicken thighs if that's what you like to do. And then we just wanna kind of flatten these out to a fairly even level. So you can put these inside of a Ziploc bag or in between parchment paper and just pound them down. Maybe even do plastic wrap, you decide. But we just want to make a nice, even, thin piece of chicken. And the whole point of that is to make it easier to fold and help it cook evenly. Now go ahead and spread a spoonful of your marinara or pizza sauce on each piece of the chicken, and then top it with 2 to 4 pieces of pepperoni and onion slices. Here's a little bonus ingredient if you want. You could just throw on some Italian seasoning. And now comes the fun part. You're going to take one side of the chicken and fold it in half over the other side of the chicken, and then use a toothpick to hold that together. Now, a lot of times I do not preheat the air fryer, but in this case I do want to preheat it. I'm going to go 400 for about 4 to 5 minutes, and because this recipe involves cheese, I do like to use my parchment paper. We're going to bring that temperature down to 380 degrees, and we're going to cook these anywhere from 10, maybe even up to 16 minutes. When it's halfway through cooking, you do want to rotate these. And chicken thighs are different than a chicken breast because they are more fatty, so you actually kind of want to cook them longer. And I personally like cooking chicken thighs until they reach about 185 degrees. I think it makes them juicier and more tender, but you want to make sure you do it till at least 165. When that's done cooking, you're going to go ahead and put your mozzarella cheese or whatever type of cheese blend you have right on top of the chicken, and then close up the air fryer and just let that sit. Number 1, the cheese is going to start melting. Number 2, the juices are going to redistribute in the chicken thighs, and oh my goodness, it's going to be amazing. Just see what my taste testers think.
Very exquisite. Wow. I was not expecting it to be that juicy. Wow. Wow. Very juicy, very flavorful. Overall, I'll give that a 4.9 out of 5.
Now on page 54, I have a recipe for homemade hamburger patties. These cook up so fast. They're so delicious in the air fryer. And when you add in these extra flavors, so good. For each pound of ground beef, you're gonna add in a tablespoon of Worcester sauce, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, and optional, you could do a pinch of cayenne pepper. You just mix all of that up so all the spices are incorporated, and then form your 1/4 pound patties. Now because these cook up so quickly, and because I want a little bit of the sear, I am going to go ahead and preheat my air fryer for about 5 minutes at 400. And now that that's ready, I'm going to throw my patties in. In this case, I actually do not like to use my parchment paper because I want the grease to drip away from the meat. But I'm going to bring that temperature down to 380, and you're going to cook these anywhere from 4 to 8 minutes. It just depends on how thick you create your patties. Just got to get them up to 160, and then you can enjoy some delicious hamburgers. Throw them on a bun. Do it with a side of veggies and mashed potatoes. Also a great source of protein and so good. See what my taste testers think?
What's your favorite part?
All of it.
All of it. Has a nice little flavor. We love it. 5 stars.
5 stars.
This next one's on page 113. It's honey garlic shrimp. And of course, it's good. So you just need a pound of medium or large shrimp. You want these deveined, peeled, and they could either be fresh or frozen, but you do want to make sure they are thawed out. And then you're going to make a little marinade. You just need a 1/3 cup of honey, a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, a tablespoon of minced garlic, and a teaspoon of minced fresh ginger. It's optional, but hey, don't skip it. It's so good. By the way, I do have a hack for the fresh ginger. I like to buy the little frozen cubes. Each cube is a teaspoon. You just let it thaw for a minute, and it makes things so much easier. So go ahead and mix up all of those ingredients, and then you're going to set half of the glaze to the side. You're going to use that to glaze the shrimp later. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my shrimp in with the rest of the marinade and just let that sit for just a couple of minutes. It doesn't take long. You don't have to, and nor do you want to marinate shrimp for a very long time. Again, this time I am going to preheat the air fryer for about 5 minutes just because the shrimp cooks up so quickly. I'm going to then cook up the shrimp at 370 degrees for about 6 minutes and just stir it around when it's about halfway through cooking, and there it is. It's done. And then that extra sauce, you can just pour it right over the glazed shrimp once you have it plated, and it is so delicious.
I like the flavor. I don't like the shrimp flavor though. The seasoning's really tasty. Yeah, I really like the rice. The shrimp's not bad.
Rosemary ranch chicken is on page 71 of my cookbook, and it is a must make. This is one of those recipes that you just always have just about everything on hand. So I've got my chicken here. You need some ranch, some red wine vinegar or lemon juice, Worcestershire sauce, and just a titch of oil. And the one thing I had to buy was some fresh rosemary, which is so worth the trip. So first, make your marinade. You're gonna need a half cup of ranch or 120 grams, then a quarter cup of that Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of that red wine vinegar, a tablespoon of oil. I'm using avocado oil. And then for that rosemary, tell me how you do it, but I just usually rinse it out in water, and then I just like pat it dry gently with paper towels. And then somewhere, I don't even remember where, it's set to like start at the top and just pull the little leaves off. It never works super awesome for me. It does take a tiny bit of patience, but we only need a tablespoon. I just kind of clump it all together and chop it up into little pieces and just pop that in the marinade and whisk it up. Oh, yum, yum, yum. It smells so good. Now I'm gonna prep my chicken. Now these are pretty thick chicken breasts and I want them to cook evenly, so here's the trick. Put some parchment paper down, just like regular parchment paper. Then I like to put gloves on and set that chicken out on the parchment paper. And then get another sheet and see how it's thicker right here. I'm just gonna pound it down. And now you can see my chicken is about the same thickness throughout. So I'm just gonna pop this right into the marinade and do the rest of my chicken breast. This is not required. It just means that skinnier portion of your chicken is gonna be more dried out. Now, I just had like 3 big chicken breasts in my bag, so that's what I'm gonna do, but you really could even do more with this marinade. Now I'm gonna pop this in the fridge. You're gonna want to let this marinate for at least 2 hours. The longer, the better. Just don't go more than 12 hours. Oh boy, I forgot something. That's okay, I will go ahead and add it right now. A teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I told you I'm not a pro chef, right? This chicken is all done. And when I marinate meat, I like to pull it out and let it just sit for about 15 minutes so it can just start to temper. All right, I'm gonna cook this one. I'm gonna go with 12 minutes. We'll start there. Let this preheat. All right, it's ready. And remember, the marinade has some oil in it, so there's no need to oil this basket. There we go. Give it a quick little flip. Oh my goodness, that rosemary smells so good. We'll let that finish. Okay, I've had this resting in the air fryer for a few minutes, and internal temperature is right on track. Okay, rosemary ranch chicken. 5 stars from me. I love the flavor.
5.
4. All right, we've got honey mustard salmon. It's like literally 3 ingredients, and I have a little secret to tell you. This is the recipe. When I saw my friend making honey mustard salmon in the air fryer, I was floored. And this is what made me think, okay, I'm gonna break down and figure out this whole air fryer thing. So thank my friend Melanie, thank this recipe. That's just one reason I'm here today. You first wanna make a foil sling because the salmon is such a delicate meat. So my sling is about 4 inches wide and it's gonna fit the width of the basket, and I've got these cute little handles to help me out. And then next you're gonna make your sauce, which is simply a tablespoon of Dijon mustard or 15 grams, and then 2 tablespoons of honey, which comes to 42 grams. Blend that up, and then you want to save about a tablespoon to drizzle on the top afterwards. Now here are my salmon fillets. I got these from Costco. These are a little bit thicker. Of course, the thicker your salmon, the longer it will take to cook. Go ahead and pat them dry with a paper towel, and then I sprinkled on some salt and pepper and just massage that in. And then here is my glaze. I'm just going to brush it on both sides of the salmon. Now I'm getting my hands dirty. And then since I still have it on that foil sling, I'm just gonna lift it right into the air fryer basket. Just tuck in the sling so the foil doesn't blow up into the fan. And I'm gonna put on a little bit more glaze. And then I'm just using my preset button right here for salmon. It's 350 for 8 minutes. And there we go. I did not even have to rotate my salmon. It is perfectly done. Use the foil sling to just lift that out of the basket. Easy peasy and so amazing. Get your extra glaze and you can pour that right over the top of salmon. This one is so good. Up next, enjoy this teriyaki chicken broccoli dinner. It's so easy, so delicious. Your chicken thighs in bite-sized pieces and dice up some onions. Drop them in a bowl, then add about a cup of teriyaki sauce. Then we're gonna mix it up and let it rest. And while this marinates for about 20 minutes, we're gonna make some rice in the Instant Pot. Just add 2.5 cups of water to 2 cups of rice, set it in the Instant Pot for 7 minutes, and then I let it natural release for 10 minutes. Boom, there is your cooked rice. Now, you're gonna wanna use the grate or your basket, and then drop the onions and the chicken right in there. Spread this out, and the marinade is all at the bottom now. Don't worry, it's gonna make it magnificent. Then you're gonna air fry at 380 for 8 to 10 minutes. Oh yeah, look at that. Place the chicken and onions in a bowl, cover it with foil to keep it warm. Then you've got to leave all of the juices in this air fryer basket because we're going to throw in some frozen broccoli. Cook it at 350 for 8 to 10 minutes. Oh yeah. Then you get your rice, you throw on your chicken and your broccoli.
It looks hot though. Broccoli, perfectly cooked. Chicken, whoa, that is weird. That's probably, I'd give it probably a 4.5 out of 5, but if you had some sort of topping to that.
You mean like you want a sauce?
Yeah, some sauce to that, it would be super, super good.
All right, this one's not in my cookbook, but it's gonna be in the next one, you can bet. These are some delicious salmon bites. First, you're gonna make a marinade. Put in a tablespoon of toasted sesame seed oil, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a tablespoon of honey, 2 teaspoons of sriracha or chili garlic sauce, and then mix up the marinade in the bag. And next, you're gonna prep the salmon. Go ahead and pat it dry, and then you're just gonna cube it in even sized cubes. Now it's totally up to you if you wanna take off the skin or not. I found that it was pretty easy to separate it from the salmon as I was cutting. Go ahead and drop your salmon in the bag, shake it around to coat, and then you can pop it in the fridge to marinate. Now that it's had its 30-minute marinade, we're gonna air fry it. I'm just gonna drop all of that right inside the basket. Then just spread it out in an even layer. Pop it in the air fryer. We're gonna air fry it at 380 for about 6 minutes. Here we are, just minutes later, and these look perfect.
Good salmon.
What do you think?
I'd say a 3 out of 5. No, I'll give it a 4. 4 out of 5.
I'm a huge salmon critic. So if this gets 5 out of 5, it's very impressive. Looks good. Wow. Bussin', I'd give it a probably 3.5 out of 5.
Hey, this would not be a proper air fryer video if we didn't show you a few easy desserts. I made these sweet potato dessert fries last year for the Super Bowl, and they're so good. Get yourself a bag of frozen sweet potato fries in your air fryer. And I don't usually like to oil frozen fries, but in this case I'm going to because I have this cinnamon sugar mixture. It's a 1/3 cup of brown sugar. I'm just gonna mix that up. You could also use white sugar, but I love what brown sugar does when it comes to caramelizing. Just sprinkle on some brown sugar, toss the fries to coat. You may or may not need a little more oil. Just coat it everywhere. And for frozen sweet potato fries, I can never remember, so I gotta look at my cheat sheet. 360 for 15 to 18 minutes. We will start with 15. And while that's cooking, get a cup of powdered sugar, 2 to 3 tablespoons of heavy cream or milk if you want it less creamy, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pure vanilla. You're gonna make some delicious icing. And to make it uber beautiful, here's a little trick. Grab a sandwich bag, throw it in a little cup, scoop your icing right into the bag, close it up, and right here, we're gonna snip it. And let's take a peek at it. Oh, it's looking great. But you know what I should have done? I don't know why I didn't think about it, but I'm about to have a big old mess with that brown sugar. I should have used my parchment paper liners. Dang it. For now, I'm just gonna shake it and let it finish cooking. And this is done. Oh, look at that, beautiful. I'm gonna let it cool for just a second. Drop this into the parchment paper I wish I would have used. And now for the fun part, the icing. Oh, look at that. I bet I got some taste testers coming. Someone just got home from school and it must be time for dessert, right?
Yeah. Wow. I was not expecting that.
That's so good.
That is good.
Do you even like sweet potatoes?
Not really.
No, this will work for anyone.
I'm just like bamboozled at how good it is.
Another delicious dessert is a s'mores dip. Oh my word, these are so good. You might be surprised to know that you can make molten lava cakes in your air fryer, and they are perfect when you do it in the air fryer. To start, you're gonna wanna use this baking chocolate. The recipe calls for 60% cacao. I can only find the 56%, so we're gonna go with that today. We're just gonna break up the chocolate, and then we're gonna use the microwave to melt this. And then you're gonna wanna run it for a minute and a half at 50% power. But you need to watch that time because you wanna stir it every 30 seconds. And guess what I forgot? Butter. Yep, you need 10 tablespoons of butter. Luckily, I have a whole stick here that's nice and soft. That's 8 tablespoons. And then my kids always seem to have leftover butter that they throw in a ramekin, so it's nice and soft. I'm gonna just cut this up a little bit. Learn from my mistake here. Don't forget the butter. We'll just continue on with the melting phase. And guess what? Just like air fryers, microwaves are a little bit different too. So you might need more or less time to get this nice and melted. Just make sure you stir it every 30 seconds. We are really, really close. And you know what? Look, that soft butter only took about 30 more seconds to melt with the chocolate. So we are good to go. Now add in a half teaspoon of salt, a whopping 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, and a half cup of all-purpose flour, and stir this up and combine it. And you'll see it is gonna get really, really thick, and that is exactly what it's supposed to do. It's like a thick brownie batter. But don't worry, because we have 3 eggs we're gonna add to it, plus 3 more egg yolks right into the bowl. It's gonna be a little challenging at first to start mixing these together. Now here's what I kind of muscled through with the spatula, but it's still lumpy. So you will wanna get the whisk and just work at it. It'll take maybe just a minute of stirring here. Before you know it, you will have some nice smooth batter. Go ahead and grease your ramekins, and you're just gonna fill them about 3/4 of the way full. And by the way, I link to all the tools that I use at airfryertools.com, including these ramekins. Now you'll get anywhere from 4 to 8 servings out of this. It just depends on what size of ramekin you use. These are my 8-ounce ramekins, and then I've got 2 of the 6-ounce ramekins for this batch of batter. Now normally when I do any sort of cake or thick battery type things, I want to cook those low and slow, just because I don't want the tops to burn before the center is cooked. But these are lava cakes, and they are meant to be gooey in the inside. So we want to cook these uncovered at 400 for 8 minutes. That'll give you a nice gooey center, or you can go up to 10 minutes if you want it just a little more baked inside. And 8 minutes later, oh boy, a little burnt on top, which is exactly how it's supposed to be. And these are ready to just cool down a little bit. And I actually like to use metal tongs to pull these out. You can just set them on a cooling rack. Now these are the most bestest ever when they're nice and warm. So you might have to use like some hot pads to help you out, but it's easiest to get these out by inverting them. You might have to tap. It's the moment of truth. Oh, look at that. Look at that deliciousness. You can dust it with powdered sugar, top it with some ice cream. Me. Oh boy. Yep, just never fails. Always turns out delicious. 5 without a doubt. And tell me, what do you rate this? I already know.
Another bite. I give that a 5 out of 5.
In this video, I teach you which air fryer accessories are the ones you've got to have and which ones you don't need to mess with. And then I think you're gonna like these 15-minute recipes. Make sure you're subscribed, and thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.